You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are...
Road Rage.
And how's every single you family? We're having a really great time because Hell in a Cell just took place, and we're really happy. It's actually a good pay-per-view overall, I will say, Jean-Paul. I will give it like a solid 7 because it was pretty great. I did enjoy myself watching it.
Yeah, the show, 5 matches was really good. And unfortunately, though, we did see some great matches out of those 5. Or no, there was 6 matches. I lied.
Yeah, one was that.
We have a new WWE champion. And, was it our tribal chief? Did he lose? No, unfortunately, he retained.
No,
so it was, Drew McIntyre, the Reign, my favorite champion in a long time. It's done. But I mean, I don't know. So that kind of sucked. That kind of like even though I wanted, I've been saying on the Monday Night Raw reviews, Randy Orton, he's got to win. It's got to be legit. But then the way that this match was, and how Drew lost, and it's just But we'll get there when we get there. But overall, I agree. This was a good show.
It was a pretty good show. 3 Hell in a Cell matches. They didn't use the cell in any single one of those matches. I'm fucking pissed that they never used the freaking cell. But we see a beautiful Hell in a Cell women's match.
Hold on, what do you? Randy Orton was grinding Drew's face into the cell.
Back in the day, when we saw the old school stuff, or the first Hell in a Cell when they will use it all the time. They will bang in, you will be busted.
Oh yeah. No now they get too let's do kendo stick bridges and all that kind of
they used about the women's match was really, really good. I will say that's probably the best match in 2020 when it comes to women. Is this Hell in a Cell, because it was even better than Charlotte and Sasha and Becky and Sasha. This Bayley and Sasha, they were able to put a really, really great show. So I'm really excited about it. Thank you so very much, family. Don't forget, now we have a new banner even. Now we have a little bit of with the budget. You guys keep following, we keep adding little things. That's how Road Break grows. So Jean-Paul, you and me did this yesterday, and that was Bound for Glory. All the results, a pretty nice pay-per-view also. I really enjoyed it. So we have more news on Kayle. In Kayle Ray we have some news, Jean-Paul. She made it to Nashville, but then from there I think that they were saying some kind of injury happened, and that's why she didn't show to the show. But she's well, she's alive. For the people that were wondering about her condition, she's okay. So her status on Impact remains uncertain. That's what we got to say on that. But we also covered the whole thing. Jean-Paul and I, we did a great job, I think, talking about it, right, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was the WrestleMania for Impact. Lots of great matches. The main event was a hell of a match, and I what do you think? I almost think I like Bound for Glory's main event a little bit more. Maybe it's because the babyface went over and it was a feel-good, legit moment. But both pay-per-views, last night and tonight, I think overall delivered.
Oh yeah, no, I think so. I think it's been always for Road Break. It's always long weekends, but enjoyable weekends. Nonetheless. So we're really excited. So please don't forget to watch this video. So Jean-Paul, let's start with Hell in a Cell 2020 with a great kickoff show and a great match involving the 24/7 champion R-Truth against Philadelphia's own Drew Gulak. So tell me about your favorite moment about this nonsense match.
Well, I mean, I just love just seeing little Jimmy get the shit kicked out of him. I guess. Yeah. I guess I saw it. I don't know. He might have moved. I couldn't really see little Jimmy too well here. But,
did he dodge?
Yeah. He might have. He might have hit R2 or triangle or whichever version of 2K you're playing. But
exactly. So this was the kickoff show. You can tell that WWE didn't have anybody to start.
And the main to be more angry Jean-Paul like I'm on Monday nights or Tuesday mornings is of course we had to see the Lucha House Party who were legit on SmackDown. Now they have to come out after this match is over. When R-Truth wins, does his John Cena comeback. The Lucha House Party's chasing him around. It's they went from being legit to now back to bullshit. So.
Yeah, no, and that hurts Jean-Paul because Jean-Paul is he loves tag teams, and Jean-Paul also likes to promote new tag teams. That's why he's so happy that only Lorcan and Danny Burch are NXT tag team champions. Jean-Paul, his dreams, most of the time they become realities. He said, "Don't go after this girl. This is gonna break your heart." Yeah, it happened. It happened. So Jean Paul even books in real life. We gotta love Jean Paul. So let's start with the show. For the ones that want to know, R-Truth won he kept the title. For the ones that care. So Jean Paul, Hell in a Cell started with this match though. Hell in a Cell, the big dog or the tribal chief are going against Jey Uso in the I Quit match. I will say like you were telling me when we were texting about this, maybe one of the first 20 minutes of the match, it was really good. Very contested, going back and forth. I like how he hit 2 or 3 spears, and then Jay hit 2 of the Uso splashes. So it was good. So it was back and forth. After that is when it got a little crappy for me. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, well, would Roman, did he open the gate, the door?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, when Roman all I know is Jay was pretty much done. He was beat up, and then the ref is like, "Oh, I'm going to call it." Oh no, the second ref came in. That's what it was. The outside ref came in, I believe, because when Roman threw the other ref, outside when he was going to call the match, we have a whole problem. It's an I Quit match. If the dude says he doesn't quit, the match goes on. And it's I know it's up to the ref's discretion, but it's I don't know why they play these storylines and they do these stipulations if the stipulation is not going to be followed through. It was, but at the time, it looked like it was bullshit. So he throws the ref out, and then all these other officials and everybody runs in, and Adam Pearce and Pat Buck and everybody, and they're like, "No, Roman, please don't." Even Paul Heyman's on the outside.
No, Roman, no.
Yeah, even Paul Heyman is yelling for Roman to stop and not be brutalizing Jay, and it's you're his manager. So this whole thing fell apart. It was legit, like you said in the beginning. I like when they got the strap out and they were whipping each other, and then they got they were tied to each other's wrist with it, and it was really good. The intensity, of course, Roman kind of no-sold everything, and then just hit a spear after Jay was getting some good offense, and then the spear slowed everything down. But
good seller, right? Yeah, and then the Uso splash and done. See, that's where we were when we were watching SmackDown or Raw, right there, done.
Yeah, but and then everybody, of course, comes out, and then it's that just killed it for me. And then they have to do, and of course, Jimmy comes out then, and then they do the whole thing no, come on, Oos. He's like, this isn't Jay. He's like, this is Josh. Then they got to use the shoot names to be make it seem more real. And Roman starts crying in the ring, and it's at this point we're crying. Because you could have did this with Jimmy coming out, and you could have did this emotional thing, and it's because it set up the finish of the match. But and they had a really brutal beatdown before it, like we said. But just bringing out all these officials,
see how he had the steel stairs right there, kind of trying to get him to submit. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, and then but then when he flipped him and he was going to cave his head in, that's when everybody's like, "No, stop." Then why do you even do Hell in a Cell every year if every time people want to be legit in Hell in a Cell, you're like, "No, stop."
No, I agree with you. I just don't understand why they wouldn't follow through when it comes to those big spots. We can see the face of the tribal chief right there is so Hell in a Cell is not the way it used to be before, and we understand that. Like you said, he started crying. I kind of that part I didn't really enjoy. I was like, really? Really he's gonna be crying? There. This is Jean Paul is don't cry when you see Hell in a Cell. Don't cry. Don't do that. So, I mean, the story was good. The way they were telling it, like you said, they get everybody involved, the family. The only thing that I didn't appreciate is just, like you said, kind of everybody gets in and all of that. I mean, having, Jimmy there is fine. It makes sense. Did you notice the gauntlet? The golden gauntlet that he
at first when I was looking at this, I'm like, is Roman's wrist injured and he's wearing a thing? But then he was punching with it, and I'm like, well, no, because they would, if it was a cast or a brace, they'd sell that storyline, especially if he was punching with it. And then I saw it had his symbol on it, like the Roman Reigns thing, and I was like, oh, okay, it's clearly he's trying to be like Thanos or somebody with golden gauntlet.
Yeah. I saw the same thing. He sounds to be the guy from Avengers.
Yeah,
and like I said, he's crying, but then he pulls Jimmy in the guillotine also.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's using a submission hold is good for me. I like it.
Oh, yeah. I like it, and I like how this was, because it was Jay's waking up, and Jimmy was grabbing his hand, and then because when you wake up, you're not going to be fully legit and start kicking Roman's ass. So of course he's all groggy and he's all done because he had the steel steps. We should mention that spot where he had the steel ring steps kicked into his face, and then smashed into the ring post. So he was pretty much done. And when he came to, he was just like, no, he quit. So his brother, wouldn't get his, neck snapped and be done. But so I like the way out, because obviously Jay said, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to be Universal Champ. But it's like, hey, his brother gets involved. It's like, he's not going to put his brother through that torture. So I like that way out. I just don't like how you had to have every official come down for me to get there.
That's the part that, is the worst. Why? Because we always said, why, Jean-Paul? Hell in a Cell is supposed to be no DQ. So, they should never stop anything. Anything should keep happening. I just don't understand that part.
Oh, yeah, we always...
no DQ, so, anything goes.
Yeah, you got to go back to the days of old. How about when Shawn Michaels, like we said, beat up that cameraman in the first Hell in the Cell match, or when he was bleeding like crazy in that match? Yeah. And it's like, well, what did the officials do? They let it go on. Kane rips the door off. Where was, Gorilla Monsoon, or
where was Adam
or the Stooges, or whoever? Where were they to stop Kane?
Yes, so
no, they didn't.
Part, yes, the fact that they don't follow the rules that they kind of taught us way before. But see, that's kind of like you said, the PG era is what they try to impose right now. But who was waiting for Roman, Jean-Paul? Almost at the Titantron part, on
the ramp, yeah. There's Daddy.
Yeah, Daddy and Uncle. Yeah, he's not Uncle Steve. He's just Uncle. Yeah, Alpha and Sika, they were waiting for him, and they hug him. He's like, "Good job, son." Right there, and Paul Heyman is probably having a hard on because he loves Alpha and Sika. So this moment is crucial in the storyline. Why? Because it's already fine. It's saying he is the what is the word I'm trying to look? Anointed one.
Oh yeah. He's the
exalted one, for
he's the exalted.
Of a better term, the Brody Lee of WWE, right there.
He's like the chosen son. He's he's the one who is hey, who's gonna represent the Anoa'i family? It's gonna be Roman.
Yeah,
not Jay, not Jimmy, because you guys are exiled. They just no-sold them. They're in the ring looking on, and they're like, yeah, who cares?
Yeah, that's the part. And then we get to see this tribal chief with Alpha and Sika, so pretty much he's been exalted one.
And you already made the prediction. Rikishi's probably gonna get involved some point soon, because I don't see the storyline being over.
Yeah, no. This is just the beginning, like you said. This is because what did we say? They're preparing the road for who? For Dwayne The Rock Johnson that was yesterday on Impact. So he's gonna come back and then he's gonna challenge Roman, because that's gonna be the WrestleMania match. That's all it is.
I mean, if The Rock wins, legit, but I don't see him winning it.
Oh, well, hopefully The Rock wins. He has to win because of those boobies, remember?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when he get the surgery. So, what that's what happens. And Paul, let's go to the second match now. For this one, though, I will say, decent. That's my grade right there. Decent. Not extremely well. I don't think, it was, phenomenal, but, from at least decent, and the story carries on, so it's okay. So now let's go to a match that I don't know what was the sense of having this. Elias against Jeff Hardy. See, this was to me absolutely no sense in having this match at all.
Their blow off could be on a pay-per-view, that's fine, but Elias literally just came back. They should have a match on TV or do something, there should have been more to the feud for them to have a pay-per-view match, and especially considering that this match, what we got tonight, should have been something that we see on Raw or SmackDown. Because, it was good, it was okay, Jeff looks good, then he does the jump off the stairs into the barricade, Elias moves, so Jeff's done, Elias fights, Jeff makes his comeback, and then eventually Elias goes for the guitar, but Jeff gets it, and then it gets DQ. So Elias technically wins. There you go. I saved you, how many minutes, taking you through the whole match, because it wasn't the blow-off. This was just another chapter in the feud. So why was it on a pay-per-view?
And you know what, Jean-Paul? What sucks is Jeff goes from legit feuds with Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, IC champion, legit stuff, and now Elias.
Well, but I'm fine with this because there's the storyline with the whole he hit him with the car and everything. Because this is just a feud, he's gonna use this. Then you move him on to hopefully something like the Fiend or whatever. Because I see Jeff going over in this feud. Elias is he's hit his ceiling. He's at the role he's gonna be. He's maybe going to be 24/7 champ. He might eventually be mid-card champ, maybe a tag champ, but that's it.
Let's ask Jeff, how does he feel? Do you feel okay with the feud that you're in right now? No. See the face. No, he's not happy. But like you said, like probably that's what they're going to end up using with Elias. I didn't like the whole thing, Jean Paul, because to me it's like really 10 minutes that we could have saved, maybe going to the bathroom or doing something else. He even in the pre-show, Elias called Jeff Jarrett a junkie. So I don't know what was that about, but like, hey, we got what we got. Like I said, no Swanton Bomb, no clear winner. So like they're going to have another match. So we'll see what happens on that Mr. Egg. But now let's go to like the next match. This was good though. This was good for so many reasons, and he's our boy, right there, Otis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, going against the Miz, and the winner will keep the Money in the Bank contract. So this was like really, really good because we had like Jean Paul already predicted this a long, long time ago. A few Smackdowns, like he said, the blow up here is like Tucky is not gonna be Otis's friend anymore. And I cry about that. I was like, Jean Paul, there's no way that like they cannot be friends anymore. He's like, that's what they're heading to, and that's what happened. Like pretty much Otis and Tucky, like they end up splitting up, and I'm really sad about it. But like the match, is it really worth to mention that the match was actually okay? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, the match, it was the Miz is decent, and like Otis again, he's not like the best. Tucky's definitely a better wrestler, but like Otis can do his do the stuff. And when you watch Otis, he flies around the ring, he screams, oh yeah, he does his stuff, and like you like him.
Like this example.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's definitely charismatic. He's charismatic as all hell. You like seeing him. So, and the match, it had meaning, and it had a reason for us to care, as in like, we don't want to see Otis lose the briefcase, because we're like, why is this match even happening? Otis was saying, he's like, I think I should be the person who has the briefcase because I won the match when they did their Law and Otis. So
that's the main reason, yeah.
So but we get this, and as he's going for the finish, Tucky, whacks him with the briefcase because Morrison was sent out of here. So then the announce team was like, okay, it's going to be legit. Otis is now going to have a fair fight, but then Tucky takes him out, and then with the briefcase, and the Miz is looking on like, did this really happen? He's like, oh shit, So then there it was. He's like, there was the dissension. And like you said, it was your worst fears came true. But for me, it was like, they split them up. They put them on Raw. They weren't really doing anything. I'm like, what else were you going to do? And what was I saying to you for the longest time is, and the Miz said it too, so he must watch Rope Break as well. They don't see, like, when you look at Otis, like, he's not a person who's going to be on the side of the van or on the billboard, like, here's your WWE champ or your Mr. Money in the Bank. No, they're not going to market Otis like that. So, I'm surprised that he even held on to it this long, to be honest with you. And it's unfortunate.
I'm kind of upset that, like, they took away the briefcase of him, but like, now I see the reason, because you convinced me of it. It's like, hey, Tucky and him is supposed to be a feud. Okay, I mean, maybe he's gonna get it back at some point. I don't see the Miz like really cashing it in. For me, the briefcase is gonna go back to Otis, but first he has to take care of Tucky. So I don't know. Finish the thought, Mr. Lack.
Yeah, but with Otis, it sucks. I almost feel like he never should have won it to begin with. There's lots of other guys you could at least did something with, and at least, yeah. But if you look at all the men that were in that match, none of them, besides, I mean, I would have had Aleister Black win it and done something legit with him. But like we said, Vince doesn't like him, so that's done. Vince likes Otis, but all the other writers are like, sorry, Vince, look at him. He should have been in a legit tag team. They should be SmackDown or Raw tag team champions right now.
But in the end, Jean Paul, like you said, like Tucky ends up hitting Otis with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And, the Miz covers Otis in 1, 2, 3. And the Miz is the brand new Money in the Bank like contract holder. There you go. That sounds better. And, I think that, I mean, like, again, if the thing goes back to the Otis, I'm okay. But, like, I don't want to see the Miz cashing in. Because that, to me, reminds me of, like, Edge when Mr. Kennedy. Remember that years ago?
Yes.
It was like, can you at least let the guy that won it? Why you have the guy win it?
That's what I said. I think, like, Vince had him win it as a joke, and then, but because, Vince is like, all right, well, he won it. Now what are you going to do with him? He's like, well, I don't know. And then it's like, well, shit, now these writers have to figure out what they're doing with Otis. And I don't think there was ever any plans with Otis. And there's all this stuff. The feud with Tucky's going to be legit because we can talk about it now. Miz and Morrison were walking back, and Kayla Braxton, she asked them about it. And then, he was just saying, pretty much the same thing we were saying. and then about how he's legit and like he can represent the WWE, whatever.
I got tired of being the workhorse and then
Yeah.
all the load of the all the work and everything, and then he'll just ask me to tag in, and everybody will pop.
Yeah, because like you said, then Tucky shows up and he says all that. He's like, I'm the better talker. Like Otis is an idiot. He can't do anything without me.
But he's the his shoes.
Yeah, he's the one who gets the praise. I told him to go ask the girl out. He ended up getting the girl. Like he has all this legitness because of me. And then you see Otis come flying in, and they start brawling, and it was good. And then Tucky runs away, and Otis is like all pissed. And
I love Tucky, dude.
And that I like, but. Why do you do this feud when you just drafted them to different brands?
I know. Yeah, you see the sense right there. Can they be in the same brand so I can actually have a feud?
Yeah. So like now is this feud not going to happen?
Oh, it's gonna happen in Survivor Series. So that's what it's gonna be. I think. So hopefully they fix that on the spot because like I said, Tucky is good.
No, you know what you need to do? Tucky needs to beat up the Miz and steal Money in the Bank, beat Randy Orton, and then you have Otis with the Royal Rumble.
That's fine. I want
Otis and Tucky for the WWE Championship.
Otis and Tucky like the Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Could you imagine how many people would be like fucking screaming at that?
Oh,
I'd love it.
There will be like 10 million cancellations of the network. That's fine, but it will be two supporters. It will be you and me.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely fine. So let's go to the next one. Sasha Banks against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was probably the best match of the show, and also like in 2020 when it comes to women, like I said. This was like had a little bit of everything for everybody. Had, like you said, like a little bit of sprinkles, a little bit of fudge, a little bit of everything, just like surround like the whole match. I really like this. Like the both girls gave us like a beautiful match. Why? Because they just gave us like spots, but like everything was like well thought. It wasn't overly done. Actually, the fast pace, like you were saying, and most of the spots were legit. So I really like that. And they didn't use the cage, like I always say. There was no color because with women it's hard to see color. But at least they gave us like something different. In Sasha, you see the evolution from going to Charlotte, to Becky Lynch, and this is like I think a masterpiece from Sasha Banks. That shows how good of a wrestler she is, and also to be with Bayley, like they close this story. I mean, at least for me, in the most great way. Jumpo.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was my favorite match on the show. It was the blow off. Unfortunately, I was hoping this would be like the third or second last step, depending how you want to look at it. I was still going for Sasha Banks winning the Royal Rumble and then WrestleMania, but I think now this solidifies. I'm going to put all my chips on Bianca Belair winning the Royal Rumble, but that's in January. So let's talk about this right here now in October. And it's this was really good. All the like you said, they didn't do anything that was stupid. The only stupid thing was when Bayley tried to duct tape the kendo sticks and it didn't work, and she was like, "Screw you, Michael Cole," because Cole was like, "That looks like bullshit." She's like, "Screw you."
That's the one thing that I like about Bayley, because twice, like she said that, is like when she was like when she put like the kendo stick through the thing and she was starting to duct tape, and like she goes, "Bayley's enjoying this," and she goes, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
Like that's legit, like how she like listens to
I mean I love heel Bayley, and that's why another reason why I didn't want to see her lose. But this picture, it's good. I love when she had her in the the ring skirt and was beating her up. I love when Sasha did the sunset flip into the cage, and then Bayley did like a catapult into the kendo sticks that were wedged. And then when Bayley did the sunset flip on Sasha into the chair, I mean, they really, it was a lot of like, having your. Oh yeah, the fire extinguisher. I mean, that really wasn't like a legit bump, but I mean, it was good because I like how Bayley was fucking around with those kendo sticks forever, and that gave Sasha enough time to be like, okay, I'll play possum with the fire extinguisher and stuff. It wasn't like Sasha laid there and just, it was just like, oh, duh. She was actually doing something when Bayley was screwing around. So it was good. And I liked the ending, like when she set up the ladder on the chairs and was going to do she was going to like come down on her with the chair. And then
the painting, She actually had that, like she had the ladder all set up, and then she was going to do it. But like I really liked also the sequences before that when she actually went for like the elbow. She did Bayley to Bayley, near falls on all of them. Sasha always tried like the bank statement. That was really good too. Like Bayley on a different gear also, like because it's Hell in a Cell. She knew that she was going to be more brutal than normal. But yeah, I really like this. The intensity from both women, especially Sasha Banks, like you said, the meteoras. The one thing that I don't like from Sasha Banks, and I'm sorry, Sasha, don't get offended, please. Watch Robert, don't unsubscribe. Like, please, the frog splash. Looks really crappy. Learn from Montez Ford. If you're going to have a feud with Bianca, start practicing with them. It's like, hey, can you show me how I make the frog like thingy on air? Because it looks really bad, and she didn't hit it that well. But other than that, I mean, I was enjoying this, the whole time. Oh,
yeah, and then when she hit the Bayley to belly on Bayley, that was legit.
Yes.
Wasn't that on the ladder?
Things like that.
That was on the ladder, I think, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't on the ladder. It was just, on the mat.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I know she hit Bayley with that move, and I was like, that was, it was legit, and they kicked out of a lot of finishers because Bayley hit the Bayley to belly onto Sasha, and she kicked out of that. She hit the rose plant on the outside, rolled her in the ring, and she kicked out. Bayley got out of a lot of Sasha's finishers and submissions and stuff until the very end. It was good. I like that. I like, when it's a match like this and this is the blow off, like then that's when you kick out of the finishers. That's when you make it, as unbelievable as possible.
Yes, and Jean-Paul, in the ending of the match is just like the bank statement on between like this chair, and like she kept like going and hitting her also with her foot, and like she kept going as she
she was like kicking the seat of the chair to supposed to make it seem like it's choking her even more, like really laying it in there. Bayley taps, and I guess with Bayley's character, the way it was, she was almost avoiding Sasha more than anything, because I was like, do I want to see her get pinned or submit? But like the way it was done and the way her character is and everything, the way the story was, I'm like, what? I think a submission was probably the best way, because then it shows like, you know what, you're the champ.
And then the one thing, Jean-Paul, when she wins, look at the expression. She remained, her vision was right to like Sasha, to like Bayley. Sasha kept looking at Bayley. There was not like, oh yeah, I won the championship and you just grabbed the title and nada. There was just like, like that. Finally, it's over. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta like give these women a lot of praise because they stare at each other. It was so good. Like even though the match was over, they kept telling the story.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like the NXT takeover match where after they, the match is over, then they all turn face and they all hug and it's like, no, there was none of that here, because Bayley, even the look on her face, she kind of looked like, she didn't really know how, it was like she's angry, but like, so Bayley was looking on too. But you and I said, if anybody deserves a break, give them a month or two off to just rest, be legit, is Bayley.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I feel that like she needs, like something different, you know what I mean? Like maybe like a break, a few months, something like that. Like so she can like recover, and also like because that will signify that like this loss meant a lot to her. Meaning like, hey, I'm done. I need to refocus. I need to take a break. Reevaluate a lot of things. And
I would say probably a couple weeks. I don't know if they will give her a couple months. One, because they don't have Becky, they don't have Charlotte, and two, SmackDown doesn't really. I mean, they have some women, but it's like mostly, in my eyes, if you ask me, it's Sasha and Bianca. And then a bunch of just like, a bunch of, exactly. Right. So like, if you don't have really Bayley in that mix, you really only have the two main event women. So I could see Bayley being off maybe like a month max, maybe, 2, 3, 4 weeks, but we'll see.
Yeah, you're right. So like, Jean-Paul, good stuff. The best match of the night for me, right there. Sasha Banks is our new SmackDown Women's Champion. That's what it should have done. We all wanted it. We wanted a SummerSlam. They gave us like all the way. They took us all the way to like Hell in a Cell. That's absolutely fine because we got a beautiful match. So now let's go to like the Hurt Business, Jean-Paul. Like Mustafa Ali had issued a challenge saying that he will take, or one of the members of Retribution will take, or one of the members of the Hurt Business. And this was to me like, I love how like the Hurt Business, like they really, like they stayed as like, to me they look even better than the Nation of Domination. The suits, how like they look professional, they look ready to go. MVP says like, hey, like the guy that makes the shots here is like Bobby Lashley. He's our champion, and you know what? Like he's gonna choose whoever, and also we're gonna make it a United States Championship match. And they pick on Slapjack, right?
Yeah, I love when Shelton's like, we picked the one in the stupid mask, and then like MVP and Cedric look at him like they all have stupid mask, and he's like, Slapjack or whoever.
Yeah, right. They're like, oh, okay. Stupid masks. Yeah. What the hell? But it was good. Like, and then they have the match. And, to me, this was like, they needed, 10 minutes to kill? That's how
I feel like this was to try to like give the because what did I say? You have those huge emotional matches. You need a match in between to kind of like give you the refresher. That's when you're just like, oh, okay, legit. Because then when you watch another emotional match, you want to be invested. You don't want to do them back to back because then you don't have no stamina. You're done. That's all this was, and it was to further the storyline with Retribution and the Hurt Business. But man, they really portray Retribution like shit. Obviously, Slapjack wasn't going to beat Lashley here, but just even afterwards.
Oh no, like this, like you said, we got like this something like really quick because like Bobby Lashley completely dominated Slapjack. And then he did like a master's lock, and that was it. Pretty much, that was it. And then Mustafa Ali, all the members of Retribution came out. Like you guys can see that was the submission call right there. And then all the members of Retribution came out, and they started surrounded Bobby Lashley. But Bobby Lashley actually he was taking care of all of them because Dio Maddin was right there, and Dijakovic was right there, and I'm like, really? Like, can they show any kind of like superiority?
Yeah. So what was and then the Hurt Business come out, and I'm like, okay, so Lashley beat up 3 guys. The only one left is Mustafa Ali because he's not going to beat up Mia Yim. And then you have the other 3 guys of the Hurt Business come out. So I'm like, okay, this is so one-sided. Ali, like,
right there,
look at that. That's it. That's the perfect picture to just sum up, Retribution. But the one thing for Ali though, at least he's on TV every Monday.
At least, but like they still portray like shit. Yeah. And this is even worse, right there. All of them, like, complete losers. And the only reason, and then, I love Mia Yim, but, like, I think that, like, yes, the only reason she's in the main roster as a member of this, see the word, is just because she wants to hang out with, like, her man, Kayle Lee, and that's fine. But I was, if they will need, actually, she could be a woman on SmackDown. She could help SmackDown to be better.
Yeah, she's legit.
Yeah. Imagine Sasha and Bianca and her. You have a whole thing.
And right Jade.
There. Yeah. Jade from Impact. Yeah. Vow for Glory. Watching on Road Break. So now, family, November 22nd is going to be a special date because it's going to be Survivor Series. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving. No, that's not for Road Break. No. But like, what we do celebrate is like 30 years of Chris Jericho. No, it's not 30 years of Chris Jericho. It's 30 years of The Undertaker.
30 years of Dinner Debonair.
Yeah, the 30 years of like Dana Debonair. No, I wouldn't be a wrestling fan if that would have been 30 years of that. But like, we're going to be talking about this because the network is going to have a lot of specials based on the career of The Undertaker. And everybody knows that The Undertaker debuted in Survivor Series 1990, and that's why they do this. And they actually have Untold right now, Randy Orton and The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell 2005, Armageddon. There you go. So like, it's going to be good. So like, I think that like the whole pay-per-view is going to surround like the career of The Undertaker. Maybe he'll have a little match or something. You know how they do. So we'll see what happens, but we're really excited on this, Jean-Paul. So now, let's go, Mr. Leg, to the main event, because this was like the match that closed the show. Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. I want your impressions on this right now.
The match, it was good. They gave these guys a lot of time. Both of them look good. Drew like dominated early on. Randy Orton, he tried to, sneak his way in, attacked him, before it really even got started and everything. But, when you get really into the meat and the potatoes, as we say here on Rope Break, of this match, it was the Randy Orton pace. But it was not like the legit Randy Orton pace that we saw the last couple matches. This was like when people are like, oh, this is boring and slow Randy Orton. They did use like the sell a little bit. Randy was kind of raking his face in it, but not a lot. There wasn't any time the match really started going, really started picking up, then it would kind of slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
and then like it would start to like, okay, you start to get momentum start to really get going, and then it would slow down. The women's match, they were like shot out of a cannon, and it was constant. Okay, somebody takes a bump and things slow down, but then when that happens, somebody's setting up a table, and then, okay, I'm going to put this person through that table. It wasn't like both guys are laying there, or you have Randy Orton just slowly walking around. And I know it's the pacing, and I know it's everything, but it's Hell in the Cell. It was the main event. We've seen these guys go at a faster pace before. And then this was kind of slow. But, I mean, it was legit. They did climb to the top. They were fighting up there. That was good. Drew took the big bump, which kind of inevitably set up the ending of this thing out because he was done. My only, honestly, major
like playing the game, Jean Paul, WWE 2K19.
Yeah,
right
exactly. Really, and now you tell me how you feel, but my only major complaint is after WrestleMania, we saw the legitness kicking out of all the RKOs. Yeah, there he is. But I mean, kicking out of all the F5s, excuse me, at WrestleMania against Lesnar. And then tonight, yeah, he took the bump off the side of the cage, not off the top, off the side. And then, one RKO and done.
That's my thing. I mean, like, if you want my...
I was looking, and I'm going to be honest with you quick. And, it was only 9:55, 9:54. I'm like, he's kicking out. This isn't over yet. We got 5 more minutes. And then it was one.
That's how I felt when I saw that, when...
Yeah, I was like, really?
I was like, because, see, like, the pace was too slow for my taste. That's what I can tell you. Like, I didn't like that too much. But, I mean, Drew dominating for certain spots with the match was good. He took the bump, and I was like, yeah, like you said, I was thinking, like, yeah, it might be the beginning of the end. And that spot has been done before, so it's okay. Yeah. You always have to do that in Hell in a Cells. Dean Ambrose or John Moxley, Seth Rollins did it, Sasha did it, Shane does it all the time also. Like, they always go to the announcer's table. It's the same thing. Drew kind of like, when he hit the Claymore kick, the one, I like that spot because then Randy Orton really right away, he rolled out of the ring. So that was good. I like that. But, I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, I think that, like, they might be the title switch. A lot of people were saying that we're going to see Brock Lesnar. That didn't happen. But the one thing that I didn't like you said, is after that, like, instead of, like, making, like, the speed of the match, like, take off, it actually went slower. And then McIntyre just, like, misses the Claymore kick. And then Randy Orton takes advantage of that, and then he hits the RKO, and that was it.
Yeah, so, and I would have... And it's fine to do. I like that whole sequence. The Mr. Claymore RKO. He should have hit the RKO. Then he should have went down and did like the whole Viper shit, where he like pounds the ground and he hears the voices, and then have hit the RKO again, and then even have Drew be on his hands and knees, like, oh, it's done. And then what do you think he does then? Punt kick, and then pins him.
That's fine. And
I would have been like, because then it's like because then, okay, 2 RKOs and a punt kick. Yeah, now he's done. Because he had that broken jaw or whatever a couple weeks ago. And it's like, for us with brains, we remember that. So it's like, okay, after that match and all those finishers, and even the WWE champion is going to get pinned. So,
yes.
It's but just 1 RKO and done. But the way Drew was looking at him, like, it's not over, you son of a bitch. And I would make a case for Drew to at least maybe not be like, oh, rematch clause, but at least be in the kind of consideration for a rematch. Because how many rematches did Randy Orton get?
Oh, yeah.
Drew
gave... Like TLC, for example. You know what I mean? It could be TLC because I don't really see Roman against Randy Orton in Survivor Series. I don't know if that, like, causes any interest, at least in me. But...
No, and do we want Brock to show up on Monday Night Raw and beat Orton, and then we get Roman versus Lesnar, like, 7? Or Roman versus Lesnar 8, whatever it is at this point.
I'd rather Otis versus Roman, and Otis goes over. That's the legit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Or Tucky, like winning the WWE champion. Yeah. That would be fine. But like in the end, Jean Paul, we get Randy Orton as our new WWE champion, 14th time. He's been the champion for 14 times, so he ties Triple H, and he's like 2 times away from John Cena and Ric Flair. So I mean, does he deserve the championship for the amount of work that he's done ever since the Royal Rumble? I will say yes. So I think it's a reward because I remember like the great matches that we had with Edge. I mean, the one of Mania, a lot of people hated it, but the one at the Backlash when it was the greatest match ever, that was a really great match.
Yeah, that's probably still my favorite like men's singles match, I would say.
Of all time. No.
No.
Of this year. So like, and especially the fact that like he's been able to hold this feud. Because, like, let's say, like, when Randy Orton's heel is the only way that, like, he actually gets people attention. Because when he's heel, whatever, we don't want him to be face. No. So, like, I think this is, like, a reward. There you go. Reward for, like, hey, you did a great job. You're the champion one more time. And the company trusts him. Everybody talks about Randy Orton being one of the most easiest people to work with. So, there you go. Meaning, like, how smooth he is.
And, hey, maybe The Miz will cash in and then The Miz will be WWE champion.
And then, Jean Paul, we go back to the year 2010.
Yep. And then John Cena will win the Royal Rumble, and we'll get Cena versus Miz.
Yep. There you go. And The Rock will be the special enforcer. So
no, it'll be Rock versus Roman. It'll be like old school. Like, what year are we in?
Yeah, no, but then also The Rock will be the special enforcer, and then we'll set up for Cena and The Rock 3.
There you go.
That would be amazing. So
and then they can unify the belts, hopefully.
Yeah, and then we get the WWE World Heavyweight Champion one more time. So This is what we got for you guys. I think we hope that you enjoy the show. Right there, you can guys see our newest banner. We have all the social media right there for you guys. So don't forget to follow us. Please hit the bell and all the notifications on YouTube. And where else they can find us, Jean Paul?
You can find us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and right here on YouTube, and of course our new home, alleverythingentertainment.com.
That's right, family. So thank you so very much for everything that you do for us. We're going to bring more content. A lot of things are happening. Next time that we will be on pay-per-view is going to be for AEW Full Gear. So we have a 1 week of rest. We need to rest up because it's been non-stop, but we do it for all of you guys. There will be more soccer. There will be more wrestling also, because the shows always happen, and therefore we will be here. So Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is